This is ELA 22. So thank you for joining me in my house. Um, I'm going to try to make a lot of these videos so that you can watch them whenever you like. That way, as we progress through the reading of the four agreements, you can kind of access this information whenever you like. So let's go ahead and open up the screen to where it says ELA 22. This is in session 4, okay? Because I've deleted the one that was in session 3. Okay, so these are the instructions for ELA 22. Read and make or take notes based upon like what you can do. If you want to take notes, then if you look down at the bottom of the assignment, there's reading notes that I've made so that you can kind of see how notes are made. So sometimes the process of making notes is first taking notes, and then you start finding out that you have your own ability to find out what is important and what is not important. So remember, it's either the instructions say read and make / take notes inside your ELA journal with ELA assignment number on the first 2 parts of the 4 agreements, which is defining who the Toltec are, okay? And those are the Roman numerals. So when you look in that reading notes and you see Roman numerals, what are you talking about, Mr. Patrick? Roman numerals, those are pages of the book. And then the introduction has different page numbers. So generally people skip over an introduction, or they skip over the preface or something like that in a book. But those parts of the book are very important. It kind of sets the scene. Frame of mind. I'm going on with reading the assignment page. We bring to the table specific expectations depending upon the written work in question. So whatever we're reading, whatever the written word is, we bring a certain frame of mind to it. And that's called our experience of life. The 4 agreements is a written work, much like the work that you're reading for Mr. Taylor from Aldo Leopold. Okay? These work require a bit more investment of time and focus. They're not meant to be speed read. Do not do any speed reading with these 2 titles. Okay? You are meant to be detail oriented. That's the second highlighted or bold print announcement during this assignment. As you read, make sure to look up any terms you may not know. There will be specific terms that are required. And if you noticed, if you clicked on the reading notes, it says anything highlighted in yellow are terms you will need to look up and or know. So that means anything that was not given a definition that's been highlighted, you need to look up. And if it has been highlighted, you need to write those into your journal, your ELA journal. I'll be looking for those. That's how I'll know that you actually accessed this document and you made notes or took notes related to what we've been reading. Okay? So if those parts aren't there, I can't give you credit for those. Okay, let's go back to the assignment. Blah, 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 blah. Care of material. Both of the texts are brand new, so please handle them with care. Now, what do you mean by care? So we've been working a little bit at a time throughout the whole school year, talking about paying attention, focusing, doing actions with care. So I'll give you a very basic example. When we do our restore jobs at the end of the day, you're meant to wipe the table. And you're going to have an assignment related to this next week. We're starting out slow, and the whole pace of this cycle is going to be slow. Because that's how we can be careful. If we are moving too quickly, things can get lost in the mix. So that's why it's important that we take our time, We read each bullet point. If something is written, if I'm writing something, I'm not writing it just to blah, blah, blah. I'm writing it for your information and for my information to really kind of hold myself accountable. Hey, I want to make sure I covered this, to be thorough. That's another reason why we do things in a slow manner to make sure that it's done well. So let me get back to the example of restore jobs. So what I've noticed is when people go to wipe the table, they're wiping the table like this. They're not even looking where their hand is going. Care requires attention and focus. Okay? In one of my earliest jobs, I did maintenance at a bank. They never let me clean the safe. But anyhow, the guy that trained me was this old guy, and he was a supervisor, but he used to be just a janitor. Okay, now mind you, I was 15 at the time. Okay, he was like, "Come here, I'm going to show you how to wipe a counter." And my first thought, I didn't say it, was, "I know how to wipe a counter." Well, he didn't take that for granted. He wanted to make sure that I was going to wipe the counter the way that he wanted the counter wiped, because he wanted it to meet a certain expectation, because his reputation was on the line and he was hiring me to be able to do this job. So he showed me and he said, "Just watch my hand. I'm not going to speak. I'm just going to be cleaning the counter." And then he pointed at a spot. And he used the bottle and he sprayed a little bit on where the spot was. And he said, and he rubbed it both ways, right, with the towel. And he was like, "I know, it kind of, I don't want you to feel like I'm babying you, but I'm teaching you how to clean, and we're giving you 3 hours a night to clean this entire area. I don't want you to rush. Use all the time that you have to clean. And if you get done early, go back and start all over again, because you're getting paid for 3 hours of work." And he was like, "And I'll know if you're doing a good job or not, because I've just given you instructions on how to clean this counter." Now, this is the bank counter, like the teller counter when you go into the bank and you would meet with the people. No, this is pre-COVID times. Okay? So they were even concerned about cleanliness then, because remember, when you come into an establishment, that's your first impression of wherever you are entering. You're going to be given an impression if these people are dirty, if this establishment is clean, if this establishment is in order, if it's a place that knows what's important, all of these things. Remember, so let's get back to the 4 agreements. That's why I want you to think about careful reading. Careful everything. When you come in during the day and you arrive, do you carefully look around to see if you've got everything you need at your spot before you go to morning meeting? Do you think, "Oh, do I have to go to the bathroom, or do I have to get water, or okay, I want to get all these things done so that I'm prepped for the day. No surprises are going to hit me." So the 4 agreements is about faith, and I'm not trying to indoctrinate you into a religion. I'm not. Defending your life. I wasn't trying to convince you that that's what happens at the end of our lives, that we're really going to go to a place called Judgment City. But we are looking at frames of reference, settings, stories that we can apply ideas to and have discussions about. That's the only thing that Defending Your Life was about, that the Four Agreements is about, that the Bible would be about, that the Emancipation Proclamation would be about. We're looking at written work to see what is written there and then decide, you know what? I agree with this part, this part, this part. I have a question about this part though, because this kind of sounds kind of screwy. So what does that mean? That means that we have conversations about it. Okay, so this video is now up to 11 minutes. So I want to try to get back to the Four Agreements. I want you to read it very carefully. I want you to look at any highlighted word, and I want you to look them up. If I don't give you or provide you a definition, you need to do the work to look it up. That's why we're not going to have official classes. I'm going to be guiding you through this work. Now, if you have questions, I'm not telling you not to ask the questions. That's why we have Google Classroom. You can get onto the stream for ELA session 4, and you can read and you can enter questions that you have related to this most recent reading assignment. Okay, that's how we're going to proceed from this point forward. So I look forward to working with you on the Four Agreements. Again, this is a story that's being presented to us. And I'll tell you right now, I'll give you a little foreshadowing. I don't agree with everything in the Four Agreements. But there's truth in everything that we read. We just have to be able to cipher through the truth from the falsity, from the, I'm not really sure about this kind of stuff. So take your time. I look forward to working with you on all this. And I hope to get better at using this gimbal. That's what this little contraption thing is as we go along. And my videos will hopefully get better. So thank you. And the next video will be, I think, ELA 3 for cycle 4 or session 4. Thanks.